There are places in California that don't show up on maps. Houses where people hear knocking, but no one is there. Beaches where something calls for help, but isn't human. And roads where if you stop, you don't leave the same. These are 4 true horror stories that people wish they never experienced. I shouldn't have gone to that party. Not because I didn't know anyone. Not because it was deep in the California hills where signal drops and roads twist like snakes, but because of the message I got before I even arrived. If you hear knocking from upstairs, don't open the door. At first I thought it was just someone trying to mess with me. You know how people are, especially at these big, out-of-control house parties. But what I didn't realize then was that message wasn't a joke. It was a warning. It started when my friend Jason invited me. He said some rich college kid had rented a massive house up in Redwood Hill for the weekend. The kind of place you only see in movies. Glass walls, infinity pool, forest all around. No neighbors for miles. "Bro, this is gonna be insane," Jason said over the phone. "People from all over are coming." I wasn't really in the mood, but after a rough week, I figured, why not? That was my first mistake. The drive up there already felt off. Once I left the main highway, the GPS started glitching. Roads got narrower, darker. Tall trees closed in on both sides like they were swallowing the road. My headlights barely cut through the fog that started rolling in, and then my phone buzzed. Unknown number. I almost ignored it, but something made me open it. It was just one line. "If you hear knocking from upstairs, don't open the door. No context, no name." I frowned, typed back, "Who is this?" No reply. I laughed it off, tossed my phone onto the passenger seat, and kept driving. Second mistake. When I finally reached the house, it was exactly like Jason described. Huge, modern, lights glowing through glass walls, music blasting so loud, I could feel the bass in my chest from outside. Cars lined up everywhere. It looked alive, like a place where nothing bad could happen. I parked, grabbed a drink from a cooler near the entrance, and stepped inside. The party was already wild. People, dancing, drinking, shouting over the music. Some were in the pool, others were scattered across different rooms. The whole place smelled like alcohol, smoke, and something sweet I couldn't place. I found Jason near the kitchen. "Yo, you made it," he shouted, pulling me into a hug. "Yeah, man. This place is insane. Told you." I leaned in closer. "Hey, quick question. Did you text me earlier from a different number?" He looked confused. "What? No. Like, a weird message about knocking upstairs?" He laughed. "Nah, bro, but that sounds creepy as hell." I forced a smile. "Yeah, probably just some random troll." But something about it stuck with me. An hour passed, then 2. The party kept getting louder, more chaotic. People I didn't recognize kept showing up. It felt like the house was filling faster than it should. At one point, I stepped outside to get some air. That's when I noticed it. The top floor. One room, completely dark. Every other room in the house had lights on, people moving, shadows, shifting. But that one room? Pitch black. And for a second, I thought I saw something move behind the glass. I blinked. Nothing. Probably just my imagination. Right? Back inside, I asked Jason, "Hey, what's upstairs?" He shrugged. "Bedrooms? I think why. That one room up there, lights off." "Oh yeah," he said casually. "Host told everyone not to go up there." I paused. "Why?" "No idea. Said it's off limits. Probably just storing stuff or something. Off limits." The message flashed in my mind again. "If you hear knocking from upstairs." I felt a chill run down my spine. Around midnight, things started getting weird. The music suddenly cut out. Just stopped, no warning. Everyone groaned. Some people cheered, thinking it was a break. But then, knock. It was faint, almost lost in the noise of people talking. Knock, knock. This time louder. The entire room seemed to pause. Someone laughed nervously. "Yo, what was that?" We all looked up. The sound came from above. The second floor. Jason nudged me. Dude, that's kind of creepy. I didn't respond. My heart started racing because I remembered the message, word for word. Knock, 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 now. It was aggressive, like someone was banging on a door. People started murmuring. Is someone locked up there? Maybe someone's messing around. Should we check? A group of guys near the stairs laughed and started heading up. Let's go see. I felt a sudden urge to stop them, to say something, but I didn't. Third mistake. We all watched as they climbed the stairs. Their footsteps echoed, then silence. For a few seconds, nothing happened, and then a scream, not a joke, not laughter, a real terrified scream, the kind that makes your blood run cold. Everyone froze. What the hell? Before anyone could react, one of the guys came running down the stairs, pale, shaking. What happened? Someone shouted. He couldn't even speak at first, just pointed upstairs. There's someone up there. Panic started spreading. Someone? Like who? I don't know, he stammered. We opened the door and he stopped. His eyes widened. Where's Mark? Who's Mark? He was with us. He was right behind me. Everyone looked at each other. No one had seen him come down. The knocking started again, louder, angrier. Bang, bang, bang. People began backing away from the stairs. Some grabbed their phones, others headed for the exits. But something felt wrong, like the house itself was holding us there. Jason grabbed my arm. We're leaving. Now. I nodded. We pushed through the crowd toward the door, but before we could get out, the front door slammed shut, hard, on its own. Silence fell over the entire house, even the music system, dead. All we could hear now was slow, deliberate footsteps. From upstairs, no one moved, no one spoke. And then, a voice, soft, whispering, from above. Help. Me. It sounded like Mark. A girl near the stairs cried, He's alive. We have to help him. She started moving toward the stairs. No, I shouted, but she didn't stop. A few others followed her. Jason looked at me. We can't just leave him. I hesitated. Every instinct in my body screamed, don't go up there. But I followed. Fourth mistake. The stairs creaked under our weight. Each step felt heavier than the last. The air got colder, thicker, like we were walking into something we shouldn't. At the top, the hallway stretched out, dimly lit, and at the end, that door, slightly open. The girl stepped forward. Mark? No answer. She pushed the door open, slowly. The room was dark, too dark. Even with the hallway light behind us, it felt like the darkness inside swallowed everything. Mark? Someone called. Then, we saw him, standing in the corner, facing the wall. Dude, are you okay? Jason asked. No response. He didn't move, didn't turn, didn't breathe, or at least it didn't look like he was breathing. The girl stepped closer. Mark, you're scaring us. That's when his head tilted, not normally, not humanly, too far, too slow. And then he spoke, but it wasn't his voice. You weren't supposed to come up here. The door behind us slammed shut. Someone screamed. I ran to the door, tried to open it. It wouldn't budge. Behind us, Mark, or whatever that was, started laughing. Low, distorted, wrong. The lights flickered once, twice, then went out completely. In the darkness, something moved. Fast, too fast. People started screaming, running, crying, but there was nowhere to go. Felt something brush past me, cold, wet, like a hand dragging across my arm, and then, right next to my ear, a whisper. You heard the knocking, and you still came. I don't remember how I got out. I don't remember the door opening, or the stairs, or even leaving the house. All I remember is waking up in my car, parked miles away, engine off, phone dead. Jason? Gone. Mark? Gone. Everyone? Gone. The house? When I drove back the next day, it wasn't there, just trees, endless trees. And my phone? When it finally turned back on, there was one new message, same unknown number. Next. Time. Don't ignore the warning. I thought the ocean was the safest place to clear your head. I was wrong, because that night on the California coast, the ocean didn't just watch us, it was waiting. It was late summer when we planned the trip. Just a quick weekend getaway. Me, my girlfriend Alyssa, and two of our friends, Derek and Mia. We drove down the Pacific Coast Highway, windows down, music loud, the ocean stretching endlessly beside us. We found a quiet beach just past a small coastal town. No tourists, no lifeguards. Just cliffs, dark sand, and waves crashing hard against the shore. Perfect, Derek said, stepping out of the car. No one to bother us. That should have been the first red flag. By the time the sun started setting, the whole place looked unreal. Orange sky, deep blue water, and long shadows stretching across the sand. We set up a small bonfire, opened drinks, and just relaxed. It felt peaceful, almost too peaceful. That's when I noticed something. Footprints, leading from the water, toward the cliffs. At first, I didn't think much of it, but then I realized, there were no footprints going back. "Yo, you see this?" I called out. Derek walked over, squinting. "Probably someone went for a swim and climbed up the rocks." "Barefoot?" I asked. He shrugged. "Maybe, but something about it felt off. The prints were deep, like whoever made them was dragging their feet, or being dragged." I tried to shake it off. We went back to the fire, joked around, played music. The sky turned dark, and the only light left was the fire and the faint glow of the moon reflecting off the water. That's when Mia said it. "Do you guys hear that?" We all went quiet. At first, nothing. Just waves. Wind. Then, a faint sound, like someone calling out from the ocean. "Help!" It was distant, almost carried by the wind. Alyssa grabbed my arm. "Did you hear that?" "Yeah," I said, standing up. Derek laughed nervously. "Probably just someone messing around." But there was no one else around. No boats, no lights, nothing. The voice came again. "Help. Me." Closer this time. Clearer. Mia shook her head. "Nope, I don't like this. Let's go." But Derek, being Derek, grabbed a flashlight. "I'm gonna check it out." "Dude, don't," I said. He smirked. "Relax. It's probably just someone stuck in the water." Before we could stop him, he started walking toward the shoreline. The waves were stronger now, louder, crashing harder than before. "Derek!" Alyssa shouted. "Come back!" But he kept going. The water reached his feet, then his ankles. Then he stopped. "Do you see someone?" I called out. He didn't answer. He just stood there, frozen. "Derek?" Mia whispered. Something felt wrong, really wrong. I ran toward him. As I got closer, I noticed his flashlight, shaking in his hand. "Bro, what's wrong?" I said, stepping beside him. That's when I saw it. Something in the water, not far from shore. Floating. At first I thought it was driftwood, or maybe seaweed, but then it moved. It looked like a person, face down, floating just beyond the waves. "Oh my God," Alyssa said behind me. "Is that?" Mia started. The body slowly turned, not naturally, like something underneath was rolling it over. And then we saw the face. It wasn't normal. Skin pale, almost gray, eyes open, too open, and the mouth stretched, wider than it should be. Derek whispered, "What the hell is that?" The thing in the water smiled. And then it spoke. Same voice we heard before. "Help. Me." But its mouth didn't move. I grabbed Derek's arm. "We need to go, now." We started backing away, slowly, carefully. Then, the water started moving. Not like waves, like something underneath was shifting, coming closer. The body didn't swim. It glided, effortlessly. Straight. "Toward us! Run!" Mia screamed. We turned and sprinted toward the fire. My heart was pounding so hard I thought I'd pass out. Behind us, I could hear it. Not footsteps, not splashing. Something worse, dragging, like something heavy, pulling itself across wet sand. We didn't stop until we reached the car. Derek fumbled with the keys. "Open it!" Alyssa shouted. The moment we got inside, Derek locked the doors. We all looked back. The beach was empty. No body, no movement, nothing. Did we just imagine that? Mia whispered. "No," I said. "We all saw it." For a few seconds, everything was quiet. Then, tap, we froze, tap, tap. Slowly, we turned our heads. The sound was coming from Derek's window, and there it was, standing right outside the car. The same thing. Up close, it looked even worse. Skin stretched tight, water dripping from its body, eyes locked onto us, and that smile, too wide, too empty. "Help. Me," it whispered. Derek shook his head, panicking. I'm driving. He started the engine, but the thing didn't move. Instead, it raised its hand and slowly knocked on the window. Knock. My stomach dropped because I remembered something. The footprints leading away from the water, not back. "Go!" I yelled. Derek slammed the gas. The car jerked forward, tires spinning in the sand before finally catching grip. We sped onto the road, not looking back. No one spoke for a long time. After about 10 minutes, Mia finally whispered, "What was that?" No one had an answer. We dropped Mia off first, then Derek. Then it was just me and Alyssa. She was quiet, too quiet. "You okay?" I asked. She didn't respond. I glanced over. She was staring out the window, at the dark ocean beside the road. "Alyssa," I said again, slowly. She turned her head toward me. Her eyes looked wrong, too wide, too empty, and her lips started to stretch. "Help. Me." The same voice. I slammed the brakes. The car skidded to a stop. I turned to her, but the seat was empty. No Alyssa, no door opening, nothing, just the sound of waves. In the distance, I don't go near the ocean anymore, but sometimes, late at night, when everything is quiet, my phone rings, unknown number, and when I answer, I hear it, soft, wet, close. "Help. Me." I still remember the moment we realized that farmhouse was never meant to be found, because the road that led us there didn't exist on any map, yet somehow we had driven down it for nearly an hour without seeing a single sign of civilization. And when the old structure finally appeared in the distance, sitting alone near the coast with empty fields stretching endlessly around it, something inside me told me we should turn back. But the job was already accepted, the money was already promised, and Ethan, always the one chasing easy cash, just laughed it off and said it was probably just an abandoned property that nobody cared about anymore. So we parked, stepped out, and that's when I first noticed how wrong everything felt, because there were no sounds at all. Not birds, not wind, not even the distant crash of waves, just silence so heavy it felt like the land itself was holding its breath. And as we walked toward the farmhouse, the ground beneath us felt soft, almost damp, like something had been there recently, dragging itself through the dirt. But we ignored it and pushed forward, entering through a door that creaked open on its own, revealing a house that looked frozen in time, covered in dust but arranged as if someone had just stepped out moments ago, and on the walls were old photographs of a family smiling in front of that same house, except every single face had been violently scratched out, and before either of us could question it, the door behind us slowly shut with a soft click, locking us inside without any visible reason. And that's when we heard it for the first time, a faint dragging sound somewhere deeper inside the house, like something heavy being pulled across wooden floors. And when Ethan called out to see if anyone was there, the only response was a whisper from the hallway saying, "Don't leave." Though the voice didn't sound like it came from any direction, it just existed all around us. And when we checked the hallway, we found a door slightly open that we didn't remember seeing before, leading to a room filled with darkness so thick it felt alive. And when we stepped closer, something inside that darkness moved, not like a person walking, but like something crawling that didn't understand how bodies were supposed to move. And then we saw it, a shape standing there, too tall, too thin, its head tilted at an unnatural angle, staring at us without eyes that we could clearly see. And then it spoke again, closer this time. "You shouldn't have come." But before we could react, the house itself seemed to react to us, because the lights flickered violently and the walls began to shake as if something inside them was trying to get out. And that's when we ran. But the front door, the only exit, was suddenly sealed shut as if it had never been a door at all, leaving us trapped inside with whatever was inside that house. And as we turned back, we realized the figure wasn't alone anymore, because now there were multiple shapes in the darkness, moving slowly toward us from every direction, whispering the same words over and over. Let us in, let us in, let us in, until the sound became overwhelming, echoing through the house like it was being spoken from inside our own heads. And just when it felt like we were completely surrounded, Ethan screamed that there was another exit in the back, and we ran through the house blindly, breaking through a door that led outside into the open field. But even as we escaped, we didn't feel relief, because standing in the distance, near the edge of the water, were more of those figures, motionless, waiting, watching, and behind us, the farmhouse stood silent again, as if nothing had happened, as if it had always been there, waiting for the next people who would make the same mistake we did. Because that night, we learned something we'll never forget. Some places don't trap you with walls. They trap you by making sure you never realize you were already inside. It started with a call I almost didn't answer, because it came from an unknown number at exactly 2:17 a.m. while I was driving alone on a quiet stretch of road in California, where the ocean on one side and empty darkness on the other made everything feel unreal. But something made me pick up anyway, and the moment I said hello, there was a long pause on the other end before a voice finally spoke, soft and shaky, like someone was whispering directly into the phone, saying my name as if they already knew me, which immediately sent a chill through my entire body because I had never shared my number with anyone out here. Yet the voice continued, saying, "You shouldn't have stopped driving." And that's when I realized I had actually slowed down without noticing, pulling the car over to the side of the road under a dim streetlight that flickered like it was about to die. And when I looked up ahead through the windshield, I saw something standing in the middle of the road, a figure, completely still, just watching my car from a distance. And before I could even react, the voice on the phone said, "If you get out, it will follow you." And that was when I started to feel it, that suffocating feeling that something wasn't just watching me, but already aware of me, already close enough to reach. And as I sat there frozen, the figure ahead began to move, not walking normally, but dragging itself slightly, as if it was learning how to move in real time. And that's when I noticed something horrifying. The figure's movements matched exactly with the words being spoken through the phone, as if whatever was speaking to me was controlling what I was seeing in front of me. And when I tried to hang up, the call didn't disconnect. It just stayed active with that same breathing, that same presence. And then the voice said something that made my stomach drop completely. "Turn around. You already let me in." And instinctively, I turned my head toward the back seat. And that's when I saw it, something sitting there hunched over, completely silent, its head tilted down so I couldn't see its face, but I could feel it, breathing slow and deliberate as if it had been there long before I ever answered the call. And before I could scream, it slowly lifted its head, revealing a face that wasn't quite human, too stretched, too wrong, its mouth opening into a smile as the voice on the phone whispered, "Now we can see each other properly." And that's when everything in the car went silent, the phone line dead, the streetlight above flickering out, and in that complete darkness, I understood something I wish I never had to understand. That call was never for me to answer, because whatever was on the other end had already found me long before the phone ever rang.